One of the key overlooked areas of the body that influence movement, posture, and performance are your obliques. Now, we talk about core and core stability and all these things as being impactful, but we don't really talk about how the internal and the external obliques, based on their position of their fibers and the orientation of their fibers, how they can actually influence movement. So we're going to talk about in this video the different ab muscles that are going to influence movement, how we can train them more effectively based on those fibers, and therefore get better results when it comes to posture and performance. Hi, I'm Alex Zeffer, founder of Resilient Training Rehab, and I've helped thousands of coaches and therapists get better and more consistent results with their clients. Let's get into it. So when we're thinking about the core muscles or the ab muscles, a lot of people think of them as based on their actions within the rib cage. So for example, let's say I'm doing a sit-up or a crunch, they think of the abs pulling the hips and the rib cage towards each other, and that is going to strengthen those muscles. However, sometimes we have a muscle like our six-pack muscle that gets overly stiff, and it actually kind of bends the rib cage down and pushes the pelvis forward, and this is when you start to get these kyphotic and sway back postures, right? But what the core muscles actually do is they are more of this canister. And so what I mean by that is when I breathe in, the diaphragm goes down and it pushes everything down to the pelvis. When I breathe out, everything comes out of the pelvis and goes up towards the head. And this is just normal breathing. In order for that to go up and down, I need this casing. I need this stabilizing unit to allow for that pressure to go up and down. That pressure is important because when I put my foot into the ground or when I put force into the ground, that force has to travel up through my body. If it doesn't, because maybe I have this arched back or this flared rib cage, then the force is going to start to go more forward or it's going to start to go more back versus going straight up and down, which is key for efficiency and movement. So this is why your abdominal muscles are so key into performance and even posture, because the ability to maintain this pressure gradient going up and down is so key for the ability to produce force. Now let's talk about individual muscles, which I think are some of the most important muscles for movement, especially of the rib cage and the pelvis, and those are your obliques. A lot of times, again, people talk about the six-pack muscle being that rectus abdominis that attaches from the little pointy part of your rib cage to the top part of your pelvis, and when it contracts, it pulls these two together. But we don't really want to be focusing on those six-pack muscle when it comes to performance, when it comes to functional movement. We want to think more about the obliques. So let's break these oblique muscles down. So first, let's talk about the internal obliques. So the internal obliques, if you look at their function, yes, they have to do with crunching as well, but one of their most important key functions when it comes to functional movement is actually rotating towards the same side. So let's just say I'm turning my body towards the right. So in order for me to do that, I need this rib cage to come down and I need the rotation to come towards it. And so what'll happen is this rib cage will get pulled back and this pelvis will tilt back. So I'll get this rotation back towards the right heel. If you think of the backswing of a golf club, or you think of a slap shot where I'm going into the backside, or you think about just turning towards the right, all of this is going to be associated with the internal obliques turning us towards that side. If for some reason, because I've got ribs that are flared, I've got a pelvis that's dumped forward, I don't have those positions to allow the internal obliques to work, then what tends to happen is as I turn towards the right, let's say, I start to overly rotate, my foot starts to roll out, I start to hike my hip up, I do all these compensations because I can't stay within my base of support, which essentially is hip width apart. And so these internal obliques aren't able to work properly to keep me within hip width. So I start to roll out. So again, if you think about golf, you think as they come into a backswing, they kind of laterally shift their hips, their foot rolls out too much, maybe their knee hyperextends too much. So all of these can be compensations that are influenced by the internal obliques among other muscles, of course, and other areas. But specifically talk about the internal obliques, we can now think about exercises that create more of this ipsilateral or same side rotation in order to really maximize its impact on how our pelvis and our rib cage moves for performance. So for this exercise, we're going to do a staggered stance, heels elevated, cable chop towards the left leg. So we're focusing on the left internal oblique for this exercise. By having the heel elevated and the foot staggered, so the left foot back, I'm going to turn towards that left side. This is going to allow for exactly what we talked about, that innominate or that pelvis to roll back on the left side. So I'm going to be able to sit back into the left heel. As I pull the cable across, I'm going to be turning my rib cage towards the left, and it's going to force the internal oblique to pull the rib cage back on that side. Again, when I'm doing it, I don't want you to crunch. I want you to maintain more of this upright position, and you're going to pull down and hold that position while you're doing the exercise. Because if I crunch down, again, that's our six-pack muscles taking over. That's not the muscle we want. So when we're doing this exercise, I'm thinking about breathing in at the top, breathing out as I pull the cable down. And as I'm doing it, I'm thinking about pushing the inside of the right foot into the ground so I can shift my weight back to my left heel. Then as I hold that position, I'm going to take a big breath in. And what that's going to do is that's going to force the internal oblique to hold that position as I breathe in. So like I said, that pressure is able to build within the rib cage and transfer from the pelvis and the rib cage so that I get that dynamic motion, just like I want from a performance standpoint. Then when I exhale, I'm going to come back up. So essentially I'm moving as I exhale, I'm holding as I inhale. And I really want you to focus on the foot position. I want you to really push that inside of the right foot into the ground without hyperextending your knee. And I want you to shift more into that left heel so that we can reinforce that rotation towards the left. And we're going to do this for about 1 to 2 sets of 6 reps if it's a warm-up, but we can also put this into some type of strength program, and that way I would do 2 to 3 sets of anywhere from 8 to 15 reps. So the second muscle we're going to talk about is the external obliques. So if the internal obliques turns towards that side, the external obliques, based on their fiber orientation, and if you take a look at their anatomy, you'll see that their fibers go more on a downwards angle versus going more straight up and down like the internal obliques. And so this is going to be more of this horizontal oblique muscle fiber, which is going to cause a rotation towards the left in this case. When we're talking about the right external obliques, that turns us towards the left. If we're talking about the left external obliques, it turns us towards the right. So let's just talk about it when it comes to the left external obliques, just to make it more simple. So left external obliques contract, they turn us towards the right side. What's going to happen from a pelvis standpoint, opposite of what happens with the internal obliques, is the opposite of what happens with the internal obliques. We are going to have a pelvis that's going to come more forward. So this is going to be more associated with hip extension, whereas the internal obliques are more associated with hip flexion. Okay, because I'm going to be turning towards the same side as the internal obliques, turning away from that side with the external. So when I'm thinking about creating more hip extension, I need to make sure that this external oblique is able to turn the rib cage to the other side. So what needs to happen for this is instead of pulling the rib cage back on this side, I actually need the rib cage to come down and in towards the midline. So I need more of this kind of motion to happen. Whereas the internal obliques, I need more of this backwards on the same angle to happen. So this opposite type of push, where my rib cage going down and in towards the middle, almost like the left rib cage is moving towards the right hip, that is going to cause the pelvis to create more hip extension. So that means that when the pressure goes on the inside of my left foot, that is going to initiate a rotation towards the other side. Hip extension on the left, thoracic rotation towards the right. So it's just an opposite rotation. And so it different than the internal obliques where I'm turning the same side. This is turning to the opposite side. So again, the external oblique is going to allow for change, or it's going to force changes. So the external oblique is going to cause changes at the pelvis, at the hip, all the way up and down the chain, again, in order to shift the pressure, shift the weight off of that side. So for this exercise, in order to train the external obliques, we're going to do a wide stance cable lift. And so for this, we're going to be getting the right external obliques. So we talked about the left external obliques, but we're going to do an exercise that targets the right external obliques. And so essentially, different than the internal obliques where we did a cable chop towards that side, we're now doing a cable lift. What the cable lift is going to do is it's going to force my right foot to go into the ground in order just to lift the cable. That is then going to promote more hip extension on the right side. That is then going to also turn my rib cage away from the right, all of which happens with that external oblique. So in order to set up, we're going to have our feet outside of shoulder width apart. Then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the cable at both ends with the left hand being facing upwards, the right hand facing down. Because if I pronate my hand, then I'm going to turn away from the side even more. So that's just going to get more external obliques. So now what I'm going to do is as I pull the cable across, you're going to feel the weight shift on the inside of your right foot as you go towards the left. I like to first start without minimal movement. I like to start with my feet planted and then just allow the cable to go through. So it's like my pelvis is stable as my arms move across, just so then I can be able to coordinate both movements. Sometimes it's hard to do it both at the same time. So you're going to keep the pressure on the inside part of your feet without letting the outside of your feet lift up. You're going to pull the cable across, and what I actually do is instead of coming across like this, I go more on a diagonal. So my right hand ends up in line with my left hip. Because remember, we want this right rib cage to go down towards that left pelvis. So if I come across my body, I'm going to create more of that tension and facilitate more of that rib cage rotation. So in this video, we talked about the two core muscles that are extremely important for posture, movement, and performance, how they impact different areas of the body, and how we can position the rib cage and the pelvis in order to influence them more effectively so that we can be more specific with the exercises that we're training based on the mobility we're trying to drive as well as the performance we're trying to drive. So if this video was helpful, don't forget to like, save, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.